Hello dear students, myself Rashmi Tripathi, associated with Rajkumar Goyal Institute of Technology, Ghaziabad. So today I will continue the part 2 of the drugs acting in the CHF or drugs using in the congestive heart failure. Okay. So, we discuss the remaining classes of the drugs that act in the congestive heart failure. So, next category is the inotropic drugs, and in this firstly we will discuss cardiac glycosides that are also called digitalis glycosides. Okay. So, first of all we know what are the inotropic agent and cardiac glycoside. Basically cardiac glycosides are inotropic agents. These are positive inotropic agents because inotropic agents are those that change the force of contractility, and we need the more force for the contraction. Okay. So, these are the inotropic agent, increase myocardial contractility and output in the hypodynamic heart without increase in the oxygen consumption. We do not need to increase the oxygen consumption. Okay. So, in this cardiac glycoside causes increase cardiac contractility, but without increasing the oxygen consumption and increase efficiency of the failing heart. Okay. And now come to the sources of the cardiac glycosides. So, basically cardiac glycosides are obtained from the plant of foxglove family. First cardiac glycoside like digoxin is obtained from the digitalis lanata, digitoxin obtained from the digitalis purpurea and cubane obtained from the Stropanthus gratus. But presently digitoxin and cubane are not used clinically. Digoxin is used clinically due to their favorable pharmacokinetic parameters. So, now come to the mechanism of action of the cardiac glycoside. Okay. So, firstly we know about the ionic channels that are present on the membrane of myocardium. Okay. In general, myocardium contain the sodium potassium ATPase pump, sodium calcium exchanger, voltage gated sodium channel and calcium ATPase pump. Okay. So, what is the mechanism of action of the cardiac glycoside? Cardiac glycoside or digoxin inhibit the sodium potassium ATPase pump. Sodium potassium ATPase pump, and what is the function of the sodium potassium ATPase pump? Sodium potassium ATPase pump causes the efflux of the 3 sodium ion and influx of the 2 potassium ion. That means 3 सोडियम आयन बाहर जा रहे हैं और 2 पोटेशियम आयन अंदर आ रहे हैं. ठीक है. एंड कैल्शियम सोडियम कैल्शियम एक्सचेंजर का क्या काम है? सोडियम कैल्शियम एक्सचेंजर के थ्रू 3 सोडियम आयन अंदर आ रहे हैं और 2 कैल्शियम आयन बाहर मूव कर रहे हैं. ठीक है. बट when we use digoxin inhibit the sodium potassium ATPase, and due to that intracellular sodium ion concentration has increased, and this increased sodium ion concentration inhibit the sodium calcium exchanger. That means they inhibit the further entry of the sodium ion. Okay, and efflux of the calcium ion from the cell. So, intracellular calcium ion concentration is increased and calcium is required for the contraction. Okay. So, main aim क्या है digoxin का? To increase the calcium ion intracellularly. जब कैल्शियम का कॉन्सेंट्रेशन सेल के अंदर बढ़ जाता है, इट गोज इनटू द सार्कोप्लाज्मिक रेटिकुलम विद द हेल्प ऑफ सार्कोप्लाज्मिक एंडोप्लाज्मिक रेटिकुलम कैल्शियम एटीपेज पंप. ठीक है. एंड व्हेन द स्टिमुलस इज रिसीव्ड बाय द सेल, इट इज रिलीज्ड बाय द राइनोडाइन रिसेप्टर calcium channel 2 in the sarcoplasm. Calcium released by the sarcoplasmic reticulum and bind with the muscle protein and causes the contraction. Okay. So, this is the mechanism of action of the cardiac glycoside. So, this is the flow chart of the mechanism of action. If we use the cardiac glycoside inhibit the sodium calcium ATPase pump. Okay. And when the sodium potassium ATPase pump is inhibited, accumulation of the intracellular sodium ion takes place, and this increased intracellular sodium ion also inhibit the entry of the calcium ion. It also inhibit the exit of the calcium ion within the cell. That means, intracellular calcium ion is increased. Okay. And this increased calcium ion is stored in the sarcoplasmic reticulum, and that means calcium released during each contraction, and increased calcium ion causes the force of contraction, increase the force of contraction and velocity of the कॉन्ट्रैक्शन. ओके. तो बेसिक काम क्या करता है कार्डियक ग्लाइकोसाइड, सोडियम पोटेशियम एटीपेज पंप को इनहिबिट करके कैल्शियम के कॉन्सेंट्रेशन को इनडायरेक्टली इन्हांस करता है. Now, come to the pharmacological action of the cardiac glycoside. So, firstly we see on the cardiac action and extracardiac action. Cardiac action means what is the effect of the cardiac glycoside on the heart, and extracardiac means what is the effect of the cardiac glycoside other than the heart. So, the main effect of the digitalis on heart is positive inotropic, cardiotonic and decrease heart rate. So, first action is the positive inotropic. These effect is especially seen in the failing heart. Okay. Basically, it is seen in the failing heart, in the patient of heart failure. Cardiac glycoside increase the force of contraction, so stroke volume is increased, thereby cardiac output is increased. The main of the therapy is to increase the cardiac output, and if the force of contraction is increased, ventricle contract more forcefully, so the stroke volume is increased, and if the stroke volume is increased, cardiac output is also increased. Cardiac glycoside causes the systole is shortened and diastole is prolonged. That means it causes the prolonged diastole. अगर diastole ज़्यादा टाइम के लिए हो रहा है तो heart को proper time मिलेगा for the filling, because diastole is necessary for the filling of the heart, and it also allow rest to the heart. Next, effect of the cardiac glycoside on heart rate. Cardiac glycoside causes bradycardia in the CHF patient. That means, it decreases the heart rate, and bradycardia mainly due to the increased vagal tone. That means, they increase the parasympathetic tone of the nervous system. It also decrease the sympathetic overactivity. It depress the sympathetic overactivity due to the improved circulation. Otherwise, if the circulation is inappropriate, so sympathetic overactivity stimulated by the compensatory mechanism, and it direct depress the SA node and the AV node. Okay. Next, effect of cardiac glycoside on the blood pressure. No significant effect of cardiac glycoside on blood pressure is observed. Okay. Next is the coronary circulation. Cardiac glycoside improve the coronary circulation, increase the cardiac output and prolong diastole. Next, the effect of cardiac glycoside on the ECG electrocardiogram, that means electrophysiological effects of the cardiac glycoside. These effects vary with the dose. Basically, cardiac glycoside depress the AV conduction. Okay. The action potential duration is reduced by the use of cardiac glycoside. It may be due to the increased potassium ion conductance following by the increased calcium concentration. In ECG, when we used in a higher dose of the cardiac glycoside, changes in ECG are noticeable, which may produce arrhythmia. Okay. If the ECG is changed, irregular heartbeat occurs, so arrhythmia takes place. First effect of the cardiac glycoside on ECG is it causes the prolongation of PR interval. PR interval का ये prolongation कर देता है because it suppress the AV conduction or slow down the AV conduction. AB block occur at the toxic dose. Okay, and third is decreased amplitude of the P wave. Next is shortening of the QT interval and depression of the ST segment. It occur at high dose due to the interference with the repolarization. Next is extracardiac action of the cardiac glycosides. What is the effect of cardiac glycoside in kidney? It causes diuresis in CHF patient which relieve edema. Okay, and effect of cardiac glycoside on the CNS in higher dose, it stimulate the chemo trigger zone, that is CTZ, and resulting is nausea and vomiting. Now discuss the uses of digoxin. So, first digoxin is used in congestive heart failure. Why? Because they increase the force of contraction, and due to the increase in the force of contraction, ejection fraction is also improved or increased. Next, improve tissue perfusion and gives symptomatic relief because it increase the cardiac output. So, it improve the tissue perfusion and give the symptomatic relief. Next, sorry, it decrease the peripheral resistance. Sorry, when peripheral resistance is decreased, after load is decreased, और आफ्टर लोड अगर कम होगा तो आपके CHF में रिलीफ मिलेगा. ठीक, if we can see the effect of cardiac glycoside in congestive heart failure. This is the normal heart of patient, normal heart of the patient, and this is the CHF patient heart. ठीक है, that means the stroke volume in the normal patient is high and in the CHF the stroke volume is low, but when the patient is treated with the cardiac glycoside, the stroke volume is increased with increasing the dose. Next use is cardiac arrhythmia. Cardiac glycosides are also used in the cardiac arrhythmia like atrial fibrillation, atrial flutter and paroxysmal atrial tachycardia. Atrial fibrillation means the atria beat occur about 400 to 500 beat per minute. That means atria contract and relax in 1 minute about 400 to 5 minutes. ठीक है, so digitalis depress the conduction from atria to ventricle. अगर एट्रिया से वेंट्रिकल में फिब्रिलेशन प्रोपगेट हो गया तो अगर वेंट्रिकल 400 टू 500 टाइम्स बीट करेगा तो ना तो वेंट्रिकल की प्रॉपर फिलिंग होगी और ना ही वेंट्रिकल प्रॉपर अमाउंट में ब्लड को इजेक्ट करेगा. Okay, so ventricular fibrillation is more dangerous than the atrial fibrillation. So what should we try? We try to inhibit the atrial fibrillation so that atrial fibrillation cannot propagate into the ventricle. Okay. So digitalis depress the conduction from atria to ventricle by depressing the AV conduction. ओके, एवी नोड को डिप्रेस कर देता है जिससे कि जो कंडक्शन है वो एट्रिया से वेंट्रिकल तक प्रोपेगेट नहीं हो पाता. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट इज एट्रियल फ्लटर. द इन एट्रियल फ्लटर द हार्ट बीट बिकम 200 to 350 beat per minute. Okay, so cardiac glycoside decrease conduction velocity and also increase the effective refractory period of the AV node. So the next impulse cannot be generated. It also used in the paroxysmal atrial tachycardia. It is due to the vagomimetic effect and depression of the AV conduction. Okay, because vagomimetic effect of the cardiac glycoside causes the bradycardia. Okay. Preferred drug for the paroxysmal atrial tachycardia are adenosine, verapamil and diltiazem. Okay. Now come to the pharmacokinetic of the cardiac glycoside. The safety margin of the cardiac glycoside is very low. Okay. And the absorption of cardiac glycoside delay due to the presence of food in stomach. Digoxin is not metabolized and excreted unchanged by the kidney, and T half of the digoxin is very long, it is about 40 hours. Okay. So, dose adjustment is very important when we used cardiac glycoside, because therapeutic index or safety margin of the cardiac glycoside is very low. Okay. So, the prescribed dose of the digoxin is 0.125 to 0.25 mg per day. Digoxin has narrow safety margin and long T half. Okay. So, what are the adverse effect of the cardiac glycoside? Extracardiac adverse effect and cardiac toxicity. Extracardiac adverse effect means the adverse effect that occur other organs of the body. So, first is adverse effect in the GIT, it causes the anorexia, loss of appetite, it causes the nausea, vomiting and abdominal pain. CNS effect, fatigue, malaise, headache, mental confusion, restlessness, visual disturbance, vertigo, disorientation and psychosis. And other action, skin rashes and gynecomastia takes place when it is used for long time. Gynecomastia means enlargement of the mammary gland in the male. And next is the cardiac toxicity. Cardiac glycoside also causes the cardiac glycoside. Cardiac glycoside causes the cardiac toxicity. Almost every type of arrhythmia can be produced by the digitalis. Okay, because it causes the decrease in the conduction, slow conduction. It causes the partial to complete AB block. Okay, अगर partial AB block है तो it converts to the complete AB block and it causes the severe bradycardia. Okay, it causes the severe bradycardia due to the vagomimetic effect. Now, so how we treat the digoxin toxicity? अगर digoxin की toxicity हो गई है तो उसे हम कैसे treat करेंगे? तो first of all stop the use of digoxin. Okay, and next administered oral or parenteral potassium supplement, because hypokalemia condition enhance the digoxin toxicity. Why? Because potassium, if the hypokalemia condition occur in the body, digoxin bind to the sodium potassium ATPase pump easily. Okay. So, we use oral and parenteral potassium supplement, so the binding of the digoxin is inhibited. Okay. And if the ventricular arrhythmia occur due to the use of the cardioglycoside, we can use lignocaine IV. Okay. If supraventricular arrhythmia occur, that means arrhythmia in the atria occur, that in that condition we can use propranolol. Okay. And for AB block and bradycardia, we should use atropine. Anti-digoxin immunotherapy, name is Digibend, is also used. What is the precaution and contraindication of the digoxin? Hypokalemia. Hypokalemia condition is contraindicated. That means hypokalemia condition enhance the toxicity of the digoxin. Okay, because both have the same binding site like सोडियम पोटेशियम एटीपेज पंप, और अगर पोटेशियम का लेवल ब्लड में कम होगा तो डिगॉक्सिन जाकर के सोडियम पोटेशियम एटीपेज पंप पे बाइंड होगा और टॉक्सिसिटी कॉज करेगा. नेक्स्ट, एल्डरली रीनल और सीवियर हिपैटिक डिजीज, सच टाइप ऑफ पेशेंट्स आर मोर ससेप्टेबल फॉर द digoxin toxicity. MI patient, that means myocardial infarction patient, because such type of patients are more prone for arrhythmia. Next is partial AB block. अगर partial AB block है patient में तो उस condition में digoxin नहीं दिया जा सकता, because digoxin convert the partial AB block into the complete AB block. Okay. So, next discuss the category sympathomimetic. Next category of the inotropic agent, that is the sympathomimetic. The drugs are dobutamine and dopamine. So, sympathomimetic drugs improve cardiac performance by using positive inotropic effect. They show the positive inotropic effect and vasodilation. These drugs may be utilized to combat emergency pump failure. In the emergency condition, we use sympathomimetic drugs. We cannot use cardiac glycoside, because cardiac glycoside is slow acting drug. These sympathomimetic drugs may be given by IV infusion and are primarily used in the short term treatment of acute congestive heart failure. These drugs has no role in long term management of the CHF due to the development of tolerance and cardiotoxic effect on prolonged therapy. Next is phosphodiesterase 3 inhibitor. These are also act as the inotropic agent, positive inotropic agent. Phosphodiesterase 3 inhibitors drugs are amrinone and milrinone. Phosphodiesterase 3 inhibitor mainly increase the concentration of cyclic AMP, and when the cyclic AMP is increased, force of contraction is increased. This is the combined mechanism of action of the sympathomimetic and the phosphodiesterase inhibitor. Okay. If the beta adrenergic agonist, that means sympathomimetic, binds on their corresponding receptors, they they form the cyclic AMP, follow the adenylyl cyclase cyclic AMP pathway and form the cyclic AMP. Cyclic AMP causes the phosphorylation of the protein kinase, and when the phosphorylation of the protein kinase occur, it causes the phosphorylation of the calcium channel. Okay, and when the phosphorylation of the calcium channel occur, calcium channel open and entry of the calcium ion is increased. ठीक है, और जब calcium का concentration increase हो जाएगा तो it increase the force of contraction. ठीक है, this is mechanism of action of sympathomimetic. But when we used phosphodiesterase inhibitor, तो फॉस्फोडाइस्ट्रेज इनहिबिटर क्या करते हैं, व्हाट इज द रोल ऑफ द फॉस्फोडाइस्ट्रेज. तो फॉस्फोडाइस्ट्रेज inhibit the conversion of cyclic AMP, phosphodiesterase causes the conversion of cyclic AMP into AMP. Phosphodiesterase hydrolyze the cyclic AMP into AMP, and phosphodiesterase inhibitor inhibit the phosphodiesterase enzyme. So, if phosphodiesterase enzyme is inhibited, hydrolysis of the cyclic AMP into AMP is also reduced and the intracellular concentration of cyclic AMP is increased, and if the intracellular cyclic AMP is increased, they causes the phosphorylation of the protein kinase enzyme, that causes the phosphorylation of the calcium channel and also increase the concentration of the calcium ion and leads to the contraction. Okay. So, this is the mechanism of action of the phosphodiesterase inhibitor and the sympathomimetic. Next category is the aldosterone antagonist. The drugs are spironolactone and eplerenone. Congestive heart failure patient have elevated level of the aldosterone due to the activation of the angiotensin II. Okay, and aldosterone contribute to the progression of the disease. How? They increase the sodium water retention. Okay, if the sodium water retention takes place, they causes the increase the preload. Okay, they also cause the myocardial remodeling. Okay, and next it also causes the hypokalemia and hypomagnesia. if the hypokalemia condition occur, cardiac arrhythmia may takes place. Okay. So, spironolactone, these are the aldosterone antagonists, they inhibit the functions that act by the aldosterone. Okay. That means spironolactone prevent salt and water retention, myocardial hypertrophy and hypokalemia. Now come to the further about the aldosterone antagonist. Aldosterone antagonist can be used as add-on therapy with other drug like ACE inhibitor. Okay. They retard the disease progression, okay, because they decrease the cardiac hypertrophy or remodeling. So, they retard disease progression. Spironolactone can be used to avoid hypokalemia. So, spironolactone also add with the diuretics like thiazide to avoid the hypokalemia. What are the adverse effect? Adverse effect are the gynecomastia in male, that means female like symptoms in male with the use of spironolactone, but no gynecomastia takes place with the use of aplerenone. Next, some newer drug of that are used in the congestive heart failure are ivabradine and sacubitril. Ivabradine basically bind and block the funny sodium ion. Funny sodium ion leak the sodium channel, leak the sodium ion. Okay, so they selectively block the funny sodium current in the SA node. Thereby, they reduce the heart rate without depressing myocardial contractility. Okay, they reduce the heart rate. ये heart rate को तो कम कर देते हैं, but myocardial contractility को depress नहीं करते हैं, जिसकी वजह से they can be used in the congestive heart failure. And lastly, sacubitril. Sacubitril is an neprilysin enzyme, inhibitor. Sacubitril is a neprilysin inhibitor and neprilysin का क्या काम है? It is enzyme that degrade the natriuretic peptide and natriuretic peptide क्या होते हैं? They increase the sodium excretion in the urine. So, sacubitril is an enzyme that degrade natriuretic peptide, thereby they enhance the level of एट्रियल नाइट्रियूरेटिक पेप्टाइड. और जब एट्रियल नाइट्रियूरेटिक पेप्टाइड बढ़ जाएगा तो दे इंक्रीज द एक्सक्रीशन ऑफ सोडियम फ्रॉम द बॉडी एंड they are used with other vasodilator peptide producing vasodilation, diuresis and natriuresis. This drug is used with the valsartan, that is the angiotensin receptor blocker. Okay. So, this is all about the drugs using in the congestive heart failure. These are the references for the further reading. Okay. So, you can go for the further reading with these drugs, with these books. Okay. So, the main role of the drugs using in the congestive heart failure is to reduce the retention of the sodium and water in the body. That is why we increase the cardiac output and we should increase the myocardial contractility.